What's going on, everybody? It is the one and only Q here from Retro Q Gaming, and you'll have to excuse my voice. It's a little bit tired, but I'm just tired. I'm tired of it all. I'm tired of everything, and unfortunately, I have to make a video to talk about this. This news that broke yesterday, but well, I kind of wanted to avoid talking about until today when more information could possibly come out. We let it sit and lie for a little while, but unfortunately, as is the case, I like to talk, and well, I was talking with a bunch of people on stream last night, and we discussed it there. But anyway, it's official. Cyberpunk 2077 has been delayed yet again. This time it has been delayed 3 weeks from November 19th until December 10th. Now we're going to get into the nitty gritty specifics about the whole thing, but let me just start with two specific points. Overall, as in a kind of a general sense, I do not consider delays bad. Now, they're generally a good thing because they make, well, in theory, they should make the game better in the long run and the outcome. Now, I will say that is the general consensus and the general idea. This one does not apply to Cyberpunk 2077, which we will get into in a little bit. And the other one that I want to talk about as well, and briefly outline right at the start of the video, is that because of the whole situation around Cyberpunk and this specific delay, yes, they do deserve absolute massive backlash if you ask me. There's completely no justification for this. They do deserve backlash. However, they have been receiving death threats over this 3-week delay. And that is not cool. You can be vocal, you can criticize them, you can cancel your pre-order and not buy their game. All of those are valid. But death threats? Nah, fam. That's just weird fanboy levels of eerie and creepy. But anyway, let's go back and talk about the other points that we wanted to go with. Specifically the first one. Remember I said delays are generally a good thing, even if they kind of keep the consumer waiting and your hype might burn out or your hype may go overload. You get frustrated waiting on a game you're dying for. But in theory, overall, the game should be better because of it, because of all the delays, the extra development time. Now, you might remember that Cyberpunk 2077 was originally supposed to launch back in April of this year. I almost said April of this month, but yes, April of this year, 2020. And then it got a significant delay. It got a 5-month delay up until September. Now, if a game gets a maybe a couple of weeks delay or a 1-month delay or something like that, it's understandable. They're just shy of what they're aiming for by a little bit. But a 5-month delay is a pretty significant chunk of delay time. So straight away, red flags went up as something was wrong. And then, of course, as we got closer to September, it was delayed yet again to November. This time, only about 2 months. Again, 2 months is better than 5 months, so clearly they did make some progress in that time, but it seems like it wasn't enough. And that's why it was delayed from September 2 months to November. Now again, so far, overall, this necessarily isn't a bad thing. It's standard development practice that we know of so far. Unfortunately, they didn't hit their timeline and the game was delayed, hopefully to make it better. But now, in this 2-month period, and especially up to yesterday, this is where it starts going south. And this is where it changes into a different territory that is not acceptable. Approximately 1 month after the initial September release date, which would have been after the first delay, it was announced on October 6th that Cyberpunk had gone gold. Now, if you don't know what gone gold means, is that the original master of the game is complete, it's done. What they do is they send the master copy, the gold copy if you will, off to whoever it is to press the games onto the billions and well, not billions, but the millions and millions of Blu-rays. So essentially, what they ship off on that master, on that gone gold copy, or rather the gold copy, is the completed, finished, finalized version of the game. Now, of course, things get patched and added in and all over time extra, but this is what is considered the baseline main version of the game. Because that's the one that when they ship it off, that's the copy they use to press it onto all those millions of discs that people are going to be using on their PS4s, their PS5s, their Xbox Ones, their Xbox Series Ls, and even their PCs, if for some reason you're one of those people who still buys physical PC games. So remember, the game was completed October 6th. Now, of course, given modern game development and all, that means that they ship that off and then in the process they will work on extra day one patches and all for bugs and extra fixes, stuff they didn't find at the time or stuff that wasn't deemed important enough to fix for the golden copy. And in the meantime, from October 6th all the way up until, I guess it would have been 2 days ago, they kept saying, Cyberpunk reiterated over and over again, that they would rather just release the game. They are confirming, apparently, which is no longer confirming, they were confirming at the time no more delays. They were reassuring everyone it was coming out on that day. In fact, just 2 days ago, I'm currently recording this on the 28th of October, and the game was delayed in the afternoon of the 27th. So on the 26th, some guy, some random Twitter user actually tweeted to Cyberpunk and said, listen, I just want to reconfirm it's coming out on November 19th so I can book the day off work from holidays. And they said, yep, go ahead, it's coming out, there's no problem there. Less than 24 hours later, the game is delayed by 3 weeks. Not only that, but Cyberpunk were going back, the actual Twitter account were going back and trying to rewrite history as well, with about deleting tweets saying, confirmed no more delays coming out on that day and all as well. So again, there's some more bullshit there too. But like I said, the biggest part of all of this is the fact that the game is delayed after going gold, if you will. This leads me to believe what was on that day one disc was absolutely unacceptable. It must have been pure trash. If your launch golden copy needs a patch that's going to be about 6 weeks of development time, which would have been from the start of October when it was announced it gone gold, to actual launch in the 19th of November, or what would have been the 19th of November, that's roughly 6 weeks. And if you can't make a patch in 6 weeks to fix all of that, how bad must that state have been? So now they need 9 weeks of development time. Just imagine how poor that base version of that must be. When I read the whole thing, it instantly triggered warnings of that new Marvel's Avengers game. Remember when the first big patch came out and the developer said, yeah, we fixed over 1,000 bugs. That's not a pro, guys. You're advertising the fact that you shipped the game with over 1,000 bugs. You can't spin that one into a positive saying, yeah, but we fixed them. No, the fact is you put it out there like that in that situation. So this whole thing stems from two issues, the problems that everyone is having. I'm completely disregarding regular delays and all from all of this. So the complete issues arise from two separate points. One, the fact that they completely reiterated over and over and over and over again that the game would be coming out on that day and was not delayed. And that was all done after the game supposedly went gold. Clearly, it's not gold. Clearly, it's not ready to be shipped out. The base version is not ready for mass consumption. And it's an absolute shit show. Now, there are people out there who are giving CD Projekt Red a pass over all of this, especially when it comes to the whole crunch time thing. I'm not going to go into details about that because there are conflicting reports on it. Some reports say that it's what the studio was asking for instead of delaying the game, and some people are just saying that management agreed with it, but they didn't give people a choice in it. And some just say they completely forced it. I'm not talking about any of that today because it's all too hard to verify from multiple different sources and all. Especially when one of the people who is talking about it is, well, one of the most hated people in gaming, has been run out of the industry. But anyway, back to the point here. Cyberpunk 2077, CD Projekt Red, they have zero goodwill from me. I was already pissed off at them years ago for the Witcher 3 downgrade. Go check that one out, you'll see just how much of a downgrade it was actually given in order to fit onto consoles. And now with all the stuff we've seen with Cyberpunk, and especially, this is arguably the most egregious thing about it. Sure, it was already downgraded from what they first shown off, again, to fit on the consoles. As time went by, stuff was cut, content was removed, stuff was censored, and all the time they spent trying to curry favour and goodwill and all, it's gone. It's zero at this point. Now I view CD Projekt Red as any other developer and any other publisher that I see now. Right now, there are no differences whatsoever between CD Projekt Red, Take-Two, Rockstar, I guess they're technically the same company, EA, Ubisoft, Activision, although two of those companies I don't buy their games anymore, but I do buy CD Projekt Red stuff. But you see the point, that's how I view them as a company, as a corporation. You do not believe anything these companies say. So now they can just go be yet another game, developer, and publisher that no one can trust, no one can believe in. But anyway, how are you handling the situation? You disappointed? You cancelling your pre-order? You that mad? I know me personally, I'm still buying the game. It is a little bit annoying about the delay, simply because I have holidays booked in around that time. They're not specifically to play Cyberpunk, but they factored in Cyberpunk. Because I'll be doing stuff like building a big computer at the time as well. I want time to do that. Time to use it and play it on a bunch of other games and all too, which are newer and that I was holding off for. And I was hoping to play Cyberpunk at the same time. But it's not a complete deal breaker and doesn't make my holidays absolutely worthless or anything now. But anyway, that's it. We'll see how it goes. Or doesn't go. Or whatever.